Welcome one and all to episode 1 of Titan Teatime. I'm one of your hosts, Petter, that's P-E-T-T-E-R, and with me I've got my two co-hosts, James.
Hello.
And Steven.
Steven, with a V.
Exactly.
Not a PH.
These spellings are also in the video description for anyone who
Yes.
really wants to know.
Yes.
And this is a brand new podcast that we're starting here on the channel, and it's about Attack on Titan, which exists, originally as a manga, and we're going to be focusing a lot of that, but it also exists as an anime, which probably the most people have been experiencing it through. However, we don't recommend most anime watchers to listen to this, because it will go into some very deep manga territory and spoilers and stuff like that, so you have been warned.
Well, for this particular episode, I would definitely recommend that if you have not read the most recent chapter at time of recording, which I believe is 119, don't listen to this.
Well, yes. We expect our listeners to be up to date with the manga, because we will be releasing episodes
Indeed.
monthly. Yeah.
So come back later if you have not read chapter 119.
Precisely. That is the chapter that we will be focusing on in this episode. And the chapter before this ended with the Beast Titan falling down from the wall, being shot by Magath, who was riding Piek.
Yep.
And then basically they were saying, "Oh crap, he's gonna do the howl or his roar
Right.
or whatever you call it,
The scream,
And that's
or yeah.
that's how that was the cliffhanger.
Precisely. And that was an awesome cliffhanger.
Oh yeah, it was. And then it just proceeded to get toppled over by this chapter's cliffhanger. But we'll get to that.
Oh yeah. Like I remember I had not expected the Beast Titan or Zeke to to fall that soon, I guess. I mean, of course he's still alive, but I don't know. It was very exciting. And that leads us right into chapter 119, which came out at the beginning of this month.
From there, Aaron tries to make a mad dash to Zeke.
Yeah, that's basically the entire chapter is Aaron trying to do that.
Yep.
And I don't know, there's a couple of things that I thought were really cool to see. Maybe it was visible in the previous chapter, but I didn't notice it, at least until this one. Maybe this was the first chapter we saw it in, but the very first page, they show the Aaron hardening himself back in the Shiganshina battle, in the Return to Shiganshina arc, where he hardened himself to cover up the hole, and they've kind of carved out an opening in that for to be able to get out, which is, I don't know, it was an interesting thing to see, like how the people in the walls have adapted to the new circumstances and how they've changed things up a little bit.
I mean, it's kind of like this is the entrance before. Might as well just use it again.
Right, exactly. But it's different still, because it's not a gate anymore. It's just a hole. It doesn't have. It can't close.
Well, of course, but I mean, the wall kind of was built around, or had the gate there to begin with. So they're probably like, well, all our roads lead to here, so we'll just build an entry through.
Right, and I guess
area or whatever.
It doesn't need to be closable anymore, because there's no Titans on the island anymore.
Yeah, I mean, and let's face it, like, is a Titan gonna squeeze through there? I don't know.
I don't think
maybe it was a smaller one, but they can take out the smaller ones fairly easily. So
True.
Yeah.
But like you said, like, they're all gone. Like at the end of, particularly at the end of the of season 3 of the anime, they made it clear that, well, we basically killed all the Titans in the area. Let's go to the ocean.
Exactly.
I don't think they really made that distinction in the manga, but maybe they did. I just don't remember.
No, I think it was at least I thought it was clear enough anyway. And then there was that one Titan who could barely move at all, who moved so slow that the grass a meter behind it had already grown up back up.
Yeah, that's true.
I wonder if they ever did kill that one.
I don't know. I mean, I think it's just more of a poor thing kind of a
right, exactly.
situation.
Maybe put it out of its misery or something.
Yeah, maybe at one point.
Right.
But yeah, something in this chapter, I think another early thing is Reiner says something like, like, Aaron, please stop, and like he's like, I don't know. I get the feeling from Reiner, especially at the beginning of this episode or this chapter, that he doesn't want to have to fight. I guess he just wishes with all his heart that they could just get along, or
Yeah.
I mean, of course they're in a
get
a
along.
shitty situation.
I don't know.
Yeah,
maybe
get along is a
is
weird. It's a dumb.
But get along so that we can kill you, kind of a thing.
He's just worn. He's tired.
Yeah.
He's tired of all the bloodshed. At least that's what I would like to believe, honestly.
And he used to be really close to Aaron as well.
Right.
And that's got to take a toll on anyone, really. Like, having to go through this, like, fighting to the death in these extreme circumstances.
I mean, to be honest, I think he's just done. I just want to die.
He has been done for a good long while.
Oh, well, he was, basically he was done at the start of the Marley arc. That's when you could tell he was done.
Yeah.
I mean, sure, he was conflicted and going through things during the season 3, but the start of the Marley arc, that's when you could tell. It's like,
oh yes,
I'm ready to pass this on. I don't want this burden anymore.
It's awful.
Yeah.
Like, I love it as a story, but it's so tragic.
He is your favorite character.
Oh yes, Reiner is undoubtedly my favorite character. Not just from Attack on Titan, but probably from any story, from any medium.
Really?
I would say yes. I'm a big fan. How about you guys though? Now that we're on the topic, just real quick.
I don't know if I have a favorite. Like, it's hard. It's hard for me to pick. Like, and maybe that shows that the characters in Attack on Titan, at least for me, while they're good, they don't always stand out. I do like Mikasa. I really like her, but she doesn't get as much screen time as she used to get.
True.
Same with Armin as of late. Like, both of them are just kind of in the background during this whole thing.
Yeah.
And then Aaron, I like Aaron. I've always liked Aaron, but his character has just completely done a 180.
It really has.
And we don't know why. So it's hard for me to say who my favorite is.
Right. There's so much mystery around Aaron right now, and I'm hoping for the next chapter maybe we'll get some backstory to his reasonings and his plans and all that. Because I'm dying to know.
Yeah, and from the Marley arc onward, we don't focus on Aaron, Mikasa, and Armin. We focus on this group of characters in Marley.
Primarily,
aptly named, of course. Yes. They're the primary cast of characters in these.
Or especially, at least in the Marley arc, this current arc is a very mixed.
Very mixed.
And I like it,
but even then, it's not like it's mixed. But even then, I still think Armin and Mikasa, Aaron to a lesser extent, obviously, but Armin and Mikasa are just kind of like pushed to the wayside, except for that one scene where they, basically Aaron says, "I hate your guts."
Exactly. Yeah.
Aside from that, they really haven't done anything except in this chapter, and I guess maybe this one before. That's when they finally they talk about that conversation with Aaron, and now in this one you actually see them in action, like at least somewhat in action.
Yeah.
A little
bit, and that's why I think this chapter is great, because it finally is bringing all the characters, all the pieces together for the most part, except for obviously Levi.
I was gonna say my favorite character is missing in action right now. He's been gone for.
No, I don't blame you. I don't blame
you. A while.
Like, Levi is pretty freaking awesome. Not gonna lie.
Yeah,
he's great.
But we have no idea what's going on with him and Hanji right now.
Exactly. Like, Levi, for me, Levi started off as this kind of Gary Stu type character that I didn't really see an appeal with. He was just overpowered and kind of boring to me at first.
Oh, really? Okay.
That was my first impression of him. But he has grown, pretty early on. He started growing on me, and he's definitely a very good character, I think.
Yeah. I see where people say, "Oh, he's just OP," whatever. But at the same time, I think I like the way he is OP, because, man, I mean, you never see how he trains or anything like that. But he just is a master at what he
really
does.
Yeah.
You know, and it's just fascinating to watch it. And when he takes out Zeke like he does. Well, I guess, you know, a few times. Maybe it was 2 or 3 times. I can't remember. But anyway, the most recent time he took him out, that was just amazing, phenomenal.
It really
like,
was.
You can't, you really can't complain. It's just like, dude, you owned him, you wrecked him. Like,
Yeah.
You didn't kill him, but I understand why. Anyway, I agree. He's a good character. I think he's definitely one of the best characters in the manga anime.
Yeah, he's definitely in my top 10 list of Attack on Titan characters for sure. I think in a lot of people's top 10s.
Yeah.
But we were talking about how this chapter kind of brings back focus in a way to some characters that haven't had a lot of focus recently. And I think this chapter, like, with that said, it's a very fitting chapter kind of for us to start with on this podcast. Like, honestly, I've had an idea to kind of do a podcast like this for like several months, but I guess I didn't feel like I had the time, or I didn't know how to execute it exactly. But it worked out very well with how we changed up the podcast like scheduling on the channel, and with this chapter being the most recent one, was pretty perfect in my opinion.
I agree.
Yeah.
I think this last one, and maybe even the one before that, finally get the frog in my throat. Gosh, and the one before that, I think those are the start of almost the climax of it all. Granted, there's a lot of things we still don't know, but like I was saying before, you get all these pieces coming together, and, you know, and you get Mikasa and Armin and their kind of group, you know, coming into the battle. They're going to start fighting as well. It's Eren and Zeke finally trying to get to meet each other. You know, Reiner's there, so it's just all the pieces are there, and now we're just like, you know, in the final sprint, it seems. I mean, obviously there's at least 6-7 more chapters to go through.
Right. So yeah, that's also something we could touch on. It was announced that there's less than a dozen episodes or chapters left of the manga, I think, was the announcement.
Yeah.
So
I believe so, yeah.
And so taking into account that there's pretty much always 4 chapters in a volume, there should be either 3, 7, or 11 chapters left.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think
I
so.
hope not 3. I feel like if
I
it
don't
was
think
3,
it's
that'd
3.
be a
It's
little
definitely not
bit
3.
rushed.
Yeah,
Personally, I think 7 is the maybe 6 is the least it can go, but
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting for sure. Like it's very, very exciting to be part of, like, to be able to actually, you know, read these episodes or chapters as they come out. I notice I'm saying episodes over and over and again when I mean to say chapter, but that's just because for some reason in the English translations, in the actual physical books which I read as well, the chapters in the Attack on Titan manga are called episodes for some reason.
oh, interesting.
I don't know, like that's the only manga that I've ever come across that has that, but whatever.
Yeah, it's a very interesting choice, but yep.
Yeah. But anyway,
Maybe it's Japanese or something like that. I haven't bothered to look it up, but
could be, yeah. But yeah, moving on in the chapter, I guess, a little bit. We had Armin getting distracted by Piek and almost getting shot by like Marleyan soldiers hiding in the house.
Yeah.
I don't know. I thought that was interesting because Armin is kind of known for being very observant and perceptive of things around him, you know. But he didn't notice those. Mika was the only one who did, and thanks to her, you know, he wasn't shot.
yeah. Well, it was the soldiers who were shooting at him, right?
Yeah. Marleyan soldiers in the
Yeah.
house, like inside the house, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, what? I mean, Mikasa's obviously the super soldier there in that situation, so I'm not too surprised
Right.
that she saved him in that sense. But
Right.
again, like I said, we finally get to see them in a battle, and I'm sure they're going to play a key part. You know, with whatever happens with Eren and Zeke.
Right. I'm sure. And they're right there now too. Like right
it's true.
at the
They are
location.
Right.
If they're not in the next chapter, that'd be really weird.
The only reason,
In my
or
opinion.
the only way I could see them not being in the next chapter is if the next chapter takes focus elsewhere. For example, either back in time to explore Eren's motivations and stuff, or maybe over to Hanji and Levi.
Yeah, I can see that.
Like, those are two different options that I could see. Maybe that would kind of take a break from this, but I don't want them to take a break from this now.
No, I get it. Yeah.
Yeah, let the I would agree, or it's just let this battle conclude, die down first, and then we can go back to Hanji and Levi. That's my view on it, at least.
Right. And then, of course, I think a lot of people can agree that this chapter, sadly in a way, but also it is also a good thing, was Colt's best chapter.
Yeah.
I never thought that he would have any more spotlight, to be honest.
Like, yeah, he had barely anything to do up until this point.
Yeah.
And damn, like, it was an amazing scene, honestly. Like, his interaction, or his monologue, I guess, in a way, was very touching. And like, even though he hadn't had that much time to kind of grow on us, I guess, in my opinion, it worked anyway. It worked very well.
Oh, sure.
It was very emotional.
Yeah.
Especially since he kind of used the brother card. It's like, this is my brother. You're trying to help your brother,
Yeah.
Can't you sympathize? And Zeke's like, yeah, I get where you're coming from, but it's a no from me, dog. And then he just yells like he does. But
Yeah.
Yeah, that was
it's sad. It's sad.
It is heartbreaking. And it's also like, it's also kind of like, as a reader anyway, I was like, Colt, do you really expect Zeke to give a shit? Like, did anyone expect Zeke to give a shit?
I don't know.
I mean, he's desperate at that point.
I mean, I didn't expect him to stop. I would have been surprised if Zeke had stopped.
Right.
But for Colt, like, I mean, whether or not he thought he was going to stop, I think he was obviously desperate at that point. So he was going to try anything.
True.
So, I mean, it's better than just running, I suppose.
Right.
Because there was no way he was going to get out of that distance.
Might as well try, though, right?
Yeah, right.
So.
And then when Falco, like, when he screams and Falco transforms...
fabulous!
It is very fabulous.
He's like, God!
Oh my god, yeah.
That is one of the best. That's like top 10 Titan faces.
Titan, the amazing Titan design, truly.
Oh gosh, yeah. Was not expecting that. You think you've seen it all. Mm-mm. He's not done yet.
He's very creative with these Titan designs.
I love them. Like, I've loved them from the start. Like, just how creepy and also derpy they all look.
Yeah, exactly.
It's amazing.
It's like
really.
a creepy derp. And then I know it's kind of a tangent, but it's like, and how he tied some of them to, people who, Eldians who were in Marley or whatever. How they had the same faces, and these are Titans we had seen at the beginning of the anime.
Yeah,
and then you see them in the manga as actual people. It's like, whoa.
Exactly, in the Resistance, Eldian Resistance.
Yes,
group.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I love
Santa
that.
Claus and the kawaii Titan, and oh my gosh.
Yeah. Exactly.
That in itself
really
was
cool.
probably a big thing for anime watchers. Just like, whoa.
Right.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was very, very good.
Now that I'm watching the anime from the beginning in English, it's just I get to point out these specific things about later down the line.
Oh yeah, exactly. And there's a lot of like small hints that you definitely most likely won't pick up on the first time.
Sure.
Through, but it'll be really fun. That's something that makes this show or this story really rereadable or rewatchable, in my opinion.
Yeah, I would agree.
But back to Falco's Titan design. Do you think it was intentional for him to look like he has a beak and his name is Falco?
I never thought about that, but I wouldn't put it past. I mean,
Like obviously that's just like it has nothing to do with anything really, but
that's a little far of a reach there.
well, I mean, obviously he doesn't have bird powers, but
I could see that being like a little Easter egg kind of thing that Hajime Isayama threw in there, possibly.
Okay.
Easter egg. You mean a falcon egg?
Yeah.
Yeah, but so the the actual moment when Falco transformed into a Titan and Colt was holding him. It seems like Falco was more concerned with Colt getting injured or dead from being too close to him than he was concerned about himself turning into a Titan. Like, at least that was how I kind of interpreted it. It seemed like he seemed to resist very much, like, don't hold me, like.
Well, of course. I mean, he's gonna turn into a Titan anyway. Like,
right.
Might as well get out of here, Cole.
And
he's like, no,
and I don't know, and
I'm stupid.
Yeah, it's just one of the many things in this episode that are, or at least I guess this is the major thing. But the name of this episode, or this chapter, sorry, being like big brother and little brother, or brothers older and younger is one of the chapter names I've seen, but also little brother and older brother.
Big brothers and little brothers.
Yeah, there's a couple of different translations out there, but
I mean, maybe potentially just for a sec, skipping ahead, it's kind of interesting how the older brother dies, Colt dies, and then Aaron supposedly dies as he gets his head blown off, who's the younger brother.
And then,
so
of course,
that's kind of interesting symbolism right there. But anyway,
we also had the Galliard brothers, kind of being
another
pair of brothers.
That's a good point.
And they're both dead now. Yeah. So yeah, there's 3 brother pairs being pretty central to this chapter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. But I guess continuing on through the chapter.
Of course, Pix is drinking the moment when he's turned into a Titan.
Yeah.
Like there's no other way really that would go down.
Oh no, of course not. I mean, given his character, he has to.
I also love that the image of him drinking when he turns into a Titan. Like it looks like he's like looking into the camera, kind of.
I should need to find that.
He's
again.
like, what the fuck? I don't know.
He's like what? And he kind of closes his eyes.
Yeah.
Like, oh, okay.
I guess it's happening.
But anyway. Yeah, it is tragic to see all those people turn into Titans like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But hey, I mean, use him if you got him. Fight the Marlians.
Right.
Yep.
I feel bad because Pixis is gone now. There's no way they can unless somehow, they reverse the whole Titan thing.
They can revert them back into humans.
Yeah. And that's how it ends. Then
Exactly.
Pixis is gone. He's done.
Right.
Yeah.
Unless he eats another Titan, but I don't know. I
mean,
I don't see that coming really.
Is that gonna happen? I don't think so.
No, I don't think so either.
I guess we'll find out, won't we?
Yeah. And while Zeke sends Falco to attack Reiner, and Reiner was holding down Eren very well. Like, honestly, to me, it was kind of surprising how well Reiner was holding down Eren up until this point.
Well, I mean, he got shot in the head.
Okay. Oh, actually, you're absolutely right.
He's had some things going against him. I think in a one-on-one fight, Eren would beat Reiner.
Yeah. I mean, we've seen
without
that.
anything happening. And we've seen it. And not... And, and I think it has to do with some of his powers, of course, but also I think he's kind of cultivated himself into much more of a fighter than Reiner, who's more kind of, I'm done kind of an attitude right now.
Right, yeah, their mindsets are very different. And also, the Attack Titan, I think, is supposed to be the strongest... Like the strong, like the most muscle strength per size.
Yeah.
For its size.
That makes sense.
Okay.
At least that's how I kind of interpreted it.
I mean, with the name.
It isn't
attack.
It's all about interpretation.
Exactly. Yeah. I don't think I only think only the Attack Titan and the Colossal Titan would be able to lift that boulder that Eren plugs the hole with. I don't think any other Titan would be able to lift that.
Interesting.
That's something I've thought of.
Yeah. Well, I think that's fair.
Because it's a massive boulder, like. And even I think even Armin makes an observation. I think back then he's like, it shouldn't be physically possible for Eren to lift this rock even in his Titan form. I think Armin says something like that.
Yeah, I don't know.
Even though he suggested it.
Right.
He was desperate.
Just gotta try something.
Yeah.
It's another random tangent.
Yeah.
So you have the armored Titan, with the armor, and then the attack Titan. And then you have Annie over there, just sitting in crystal, and all we know is she's the female Titan.
Yeah.
What exactly is the purpose of the female Titan? It's just to have a female figure.
I know, it's really strange.
Because if it was anybody else, except maybe Mikasa, I think no one would be able to take out Eren like that. Because obviously Annie had the physical prowess and the martial arts to do what she did.
Right.
But was there any sort of special ability with her, with the attack with the female Titan? I don't know.
I mean, I don't know either, honestly.
It's like, okay, you get the female Titan. Gosh dang it!
Well, it was the first time we saw Titans harden. But
yeah,
she
has.
but
that turns out to be an ability that Eren can use.
Exactly.
and the armored Titan, but
outside of establishing that, I don't know.
I mean, it was more of a conjecture. Like it
right. No, but it's fair. It's a really fair point because I've also had that thought. Like, and also like just looking at the name is kind of strange as well. Like, does that imply that only females can hold this Titan?
Yeah.
Or like, how does that work exactly? Like,
or is the female Titan not really like female per se? Like, anybody can have this Titan power. So then, what is the Titan power? Other than just a Titan that's cognition? I don't know.
It is very like dexterous and stuff. Like, it's not. Obviously, it's not as dexterous as the Jaw Titan.
Maybe. I wonder if that has to do with Annie herself, because she is so, her fighting skills are incredible.
Right.
Relatively speaking, but anyway, I guess I bring that up not only because we were talking about that, but also as we get towards the end of this chapter and supposedly the end of the manga. Well, where is Annie? Like,
exactly.
Obviously, she's sitting in crystal, but when is she going to come in? Is he just going to leave her like that the whole time until, the very end where Armin uncases her and they have children and that's it? Like,
how?
What is the purpose?
My question is like, what would she do, if she's out of the crystal by the time this ends? It's like, I don't know.
Oh, by all this, I have no idea. Like, I don't know if she'd be days. I don't know if she'd be like, crap, I haven't aged these past 2 years. Or,
that's also like, has she aged or hasn't she? Like, we don't really know.
Yeah, how long does she have left to live?
Right.
Does that stop? I doubt it. But there's a lot of questions there.
There really are.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I mean, I where they are right now, I don't think they can possibly answer that and everything else without it feeling rushed and like not worth the wait. You know what I'm saying? At least for Annie.
Right, yeah, because she's been there, like, she's been in that crystal for longer than she hasn't.
So like, it's almost as long as waiting for the basement. Longer, maybe. Waiting to get to the basement. I think it's longer now.
I think it's been about the same length.
About the same?
As it was, roughly-ish.
Either way,
maybe longer, though.
I forgot, like... I was having a conversation with Patter way back when, and I completely forgot about where she was in the plot.
Yeah, I mean...
She's done
Wasn't it like one... We've only really seen her once or twice. I know one time it's just Armin just staring there, looking at her.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Makes me think like she got almost or the same amount of like presence in her side story than in the manga itself.
Yeah.
But that's a tangent probably for another day. I feel.
Yeah, sorry. I definitely went on a tangent on that one, but
no problem.
I guess it just goes into, there are still questions here even though
right. Oh yeah, there's
supposed to be
tons.
nearing the end.
It's going back to the whole, less than a dozen chapters left.
Right.
Which is a bit hard to believe as readers, but
I'll keep up my hope and faith that Hajime Isayama is gonna, give us a good ending.
Sure. I'm not. I don't mean to sound like I'm doubtful that it's going to happen, but I am anxious. Yeah,
Of course, naturally, as am I.
And each chapter is really good, and these past few ones have been awesome and epic.
Mm-hmm.
But like, I want questions to be answered rather than more formed.
Precisely.
You know what I mean?
Especially at this late stage in the story.
Right.
Yeah.
And I, by the way, going back to the chapter, I love how Flock once again finds himself being the last survivor of his squad. Just the worst or best luck in the world. I don't know which.
Yeah. It depends on who you ask.
Good question.
Yeah. And Armin doing some heavy stunts, swooping up and attacking Piek with a thunder spear.
Yeah,
really surprised
I did not expect that.
Yeah, I thought that was Mikasa at first. Like before I really saw it was him, I just assumed it was Mikasa because it was like a Mikasa kind of thing to do. But it turns out it was Armin who swooped in there and just
totally
ambushed her.
See, that's what I want to see, man. I want to see more of them in the action. So
Yeah.
I'm glad we're getting that finally.
Oh yeah, and I like Armin's new hairstyle, by the way, since the time skip. I like it more.
Sometimes I get him confused with, what's her name?
Yelena?
The crazy Aaron.
Yeah, Yelena or
Yelena.
yeah.
I think she's taller than him. I'm not entirely sure.
Pretty sure she is. She's very tall.
Yeah,
Could be.
Yeah. So, but when they're not standing next to each other, sometimes I do a double take. It's like, wait, who's this again?
Yeah, that's fair. I can see that.
Yeah.
I wonder if they will be more easily distinguishable in the anime. I assume so. Because there's going to be more colors and stuff.
I think so. Yeah, you're right.
Different shades maybe on the hair and skin, maybe different eye colors possibly. Perhaps. I feel like she's got darker eyes.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess we'll see.
Right.
And yeah, Mikasa also swooping in there into action, facing off against Piek. And oh my god, I cannot wait to see more of that, because surely we'll see in the next chapter, or at least in coming chapters, more of this battle, with Piek versus the audience.
It depends. It depends on how it all goes down with them reacting to Eren.
Oh yeah.
It all depends on that.
Yeah.
I mean, Mikasa's kind of she seems like she's trying to set herself apart from Eren ever since what he said, which really makes me upset. But I'll keep moving on.
Yes.
Yep.
So maybe she won't react, but I doubt it. There's gonna be some sort of reaction
somehow. Yeah.
There has to be.
So, she did leave the scarf behind, but she still
right.
Has some very strong feelings for him, obviously.
Mm-hmm. So we'll see.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then we had the Falco biting onto Reiner's neck, and Reiner eventually giving in.
Yeah, I thought he was gonna get eaten all the way.
I mean, I thought he was...
When I first read it, at least.
So I thought that something was going to happen, like they were going to stop Falco or something like that. I mean, something did happen, but I didn't expect, what's his name to come? I can't remember. Porco? No, what's his name?
Porco.
It is Porco.
Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah.
Porco.
Okay.
Porco Galliard.
To come out and I'm alive still, kind of a thing. Not for long. So I didn't expect that, but I did think that Reiner wasn't gonna die. They're just not gonna let him die.
Yeah. After all, he isn't just the armored titan; he's also the plot armored titan, as it were.
Exactly.
So, and it's kind of true in a way. He has survived some crazy circumstances.
We have a server, and one of the people on that server kept posting a Reddit thread saying that Reiner keeps surviving because of plot.
And this is the third time that a Jaw Titan saves his life.
Yep.
Because all known Jaw Titans, except for Falco now, because he's the new Jaw Titan, but all three prior to him saved Reiner's life, which is kind of funny and sad at the same time.
Yeah.
And like yeah, literally the moment his armor shatters, when he gives in to the bite, that's when Porco steps up.
Yep.
I mean, thank goodness there weren't any other Titans around, am I right?
Oh yeah, that is very lucky. Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of luck in this.
I mean, you know, it's a story.
It is the story. It's got to be a good narrative, and it is. It's an amazing narrative. And this happens so because we learn shortly after Porco is eaten that Zeke had just faked his death, like because they believed him to be dead right here, because they fired another shot at him.
This was going to be a point that I was going to make much earlier in this discussion, where there's a panel early in the chapter where it's literally his entire backside is like caved in. That's not going to be in the anime. That's going to get censored.
It better be.
Hard. Well,
I really hope so.
Really.
Well, okay, you say that, but don't you remember the Titan that had like ground its face up, like, you know, as it climbed towards the wall?
Oh yeah, Rod Rice's Titan.
Yeah, and you know his tongue is all shaved off, and his face, and you can see inside its brain. I mean, they've done some pretty gory things.
That's like like as far as I can recall, that's the only instance where the anime was more gory than the manga.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Usually, it's the other way
I did
around.
I did not remember the manga being that gory.
Right.
But yeah, that. And on the topic of censorship, personally, I think this panel will get censored. But yes, we do learn that he is still alive at that point in the chapter, though.
Right, exactly. That's what I was going to get to. He faked his death after he was shot a second or third time, or whichever it was, and he started like letting off steam, copying the exact tactic that Piek used, like in the previous chapter, I think it was. Mm-hmm. And I guess he even let go of Falco, when he faked his death. I'm assuming because he was controlling Falco, right? Because Falco was one of his Titans.
I don't know.
Because he can control the Titans that have consumed his spinal fluid.
Oh yeah, I know that. But what I'm saying is, I mean, I don't know if we can tell that or not, because he was still trying to eat.
The problem with reading is like it's a lot of it is up to interpretation.
Right. But it's like after we assume Zeke is dead, or after we kind of guess that he is, maybe, that's when Porco conveniently steps up and becomes the new bait. And I think if Falco was still under the control of Zeke, he wouldn't have let go of Reiner, even if Porco.
Oh yeah, that's what I was saying. Like I fully expected Reiner to get eaten.
Right. But that's why I'm guessing that Zeke must have let go of Falco for a moment.
Yeah, could be.
For some reason.
I don't think we'll ever get a confirmation on that. But
yeah,
could be.
I don't. I think it just was convenient that he's there. Oh, I'm gonna eat him.
Yeah.
Kind of a thing. I don't necessarily think he let go of control or anything like that. Because why? What's the point? I mean, sure you're trying to pretend you're dead, but how are they gonna know if you're still being controlled or not? They're not.
Exactly. He wouldn't need to.
There wouldn't be a point.
Right. Exactly. So it makes it strange why, or I don't know. Maybe it's hard to control the Titan for him when he's that injured. I guess that would make sense.
Yeah,
he's missing a lot of his body.
So I guess moving forward.
Moving forward. Yeah, the last little bit right here, kind of.
Well, of course, Falco eats Gillard.
Yes.
So he is now the new Jaw Titan. We've had a lot of those.
Yeah, he's the fourth one we know.
Yep, that's quite a few, in my opinion.
Is that the most that we've ever known of one, or at least like in the current story, like not looking back at like old like flashbacks of the founder Titan and stuff like that?
I think so.
I think so as well. But yeah, and Reiner, because I feel like this chapter is just Reiner struggling and fighting as best he can throughout the whole thing, pretty much. Like, he really puts in more effort than I kind of had expected him to in this chapter, to do a lot of the things that he does. And here's, like, his final thing in this chapter where he, like, Eren leaves his Titan body and runs off, and Reiner is, like reaching out his hand to try and grab Eren. And that's when Connie and Sean swoop in and attack Reiner with thunder spears galore.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I was like, yes, do it.
Yes. And that was really nice to see them coming back for that. And
yeah, and especially with Connie's like his whole thing where he basically hates Eren. At least that's what he's been implying.
Right.
After Sasha and everything. So to see them do that, I think at that point they just had to pick a side.
Yeah, and for Connie, it's not just Eren that he has, issues with. He's got major issues with Zeke too, because Zeke ultimately is the responsible for the death of his entire village.
Yeah, but I think he's more focused on Eren, to be honest.
Right. Well, of course, but he is helping Zeke as well by doing this.
Sure.
Yeah.
And it's it is interesting. I feel like we haven't had, like, Sean had like some good character development very, very early in the story, like the first like 3 or 4 arcs maybe. But he very quickly kind of stopped getting new things that were interesting about him. At least
I agree.
Yeah.
So the Uprising arc, I thought, was like the last time when Sean was interesting. After the Uprising arc, he hasn't really had that much to do.
In the anime, season 3, when they take back, you're gonna have to help me with names. Is it what's their home called again?
Shiganshina?
Yeah, when they take back Shiganshina. In the anime, they gave Jean a little more to do. I don't remember him having much of a role in the manga. I could be wrong though. They gave him a little more like time to talk, and it's like, if it wasn't for me, this wouldn't have happened. So it was like, okay, that's interesting. Haven't seen much of him, but after that, it was basically it.
Right. Yeah, he had like a little bit of a leader moment. He came up with a plan because Armin like was supposed to like come up with a plan, but he couldn't.
There was a part where another part where he was with Hanj and they had to make a decision on something.
Right.
And I don't remember what it was. It was separate from with Armin.
Oh yeah.
So he had a couple moments like that. They for some reason were trying to show some sort of leader aspect with him. But I agree with you that the manga just kind of has put him to the side, which personally I don't mind. But they have put him like kind of he's just this character who looks like a horse. That's about it.
No, I'm so poor Sean. But I guess now that I think about the Marley arc a little bit, he did have like one scene that was kind of cool, but like it's so small that it's a shame because his interesting bits are very few and very far between, and at least nowadays, and like they're very short whenever they come around. Like the last time like that I remember him doing something that I felt was kind of interesting was in the Marley arc when they came in and attacked Liberio, and he was going to shoot. I think he was going to fire a thunder spear at Piek, or like when she was in a Titan form, but Gabi came in the way or something, and he didn't. And that was like the same thing pretty much that happened in the Uprising arc when he couldn't shoot one of Kenny's men, so Armin had to shoot instead, and that whole thing.
Oh yeah.
If you recall, like it was pretty much that same thing that happened.
Yeah. That was some interesting moment.
Sean hesitated again. I don't know. It's interesting. Like I don't know how to interpret it really. I guess it's in one way it could be interpreted as he hasn't grown as a character. He has,
to be honest,
he's still making the same things, same mistakes.
I really don't care about him. I mean, I don't know. And it's not necessarily because like the love rival thing. I just don't. He's just not interesting. He was just this punk guy at the beginning who had it out for Eren because of Mikasa, and then they've kind of like grown friends, and now he's just part of the thing. I just feel like he's always just kind of been there as part of their regime, as one of the original, as the OG guys. Personally,
Right.
I would have rather had him die than Sasha. Sasha was way more interesting, and she had her moments.
To be fair,
Right.
there's a lot of characters to juggle at that point in the story. So not everyone's going to have the same amount of development as others.
I understand that, but Sasha, even when the light was on her, was much more interesting than John ever was.
But that makes it more impactful, doesn't it?
Sure.
Right.
But at the same time, like if John would have died, like people would have said, "Oh, he had a great death" or something like that. I think that just because a character has good development and they die doesn't mean that they should have died.
True. That's fair. That's definitely fair. I do I really, really enjoyed Sean at the beginning. Like, as I said, I thought he had some very good development at the beginning, but that was just the very, very beginning.
Is it John or Jean? I can't remember.
I think it's Sean. At least that's how they pronounce it in the English dub. So that's what I'm going to go with.
Okay.
Moving on a little bit, we see, of course, Gabi loading readying the rifle and taking aim with tears in her eyes.
Yeah, the very last thing in this chapter, of course. She's a very good shot.
Oh, but we knew that already.
Yeah.
To me, this is very much on character for her.
Oh, yeah.
Because
if we didn't know that she was a good shot then, we definitely know now.
I mean,
but we should have all known.
She's a powerhouse. I mean, we should have all known. She's a powerhouse.
Of course.
She's proved herself. Like the 360 no scope on Eren's head.
Yeah.
It's
or on his neck, technically.
Oh, I guess you're right, on his neck. Incredible shot, but no, I think it's exactly the thing that she would do. One, she obviously still has hatreds towards the Eldians. Like there's no question about that. But she may be conflicted, but at the same time, Falco risked his life for her. Said that she said that he loved her, and then she sees and realizes that Zeke transforms him into a Titan.
Yep.
And knows that Eren and Zeke are very important to each other, or for whatever plan they have.
Right.
So in her mind, this makes the most sense. Zeke is enemy number one, and Eren technically. But anyway, so
yeah, absolutely.
I'm not saying people were necessarily saying it was out of character. I just, in case they were, I just wanted to say that.
Yeah, no,
I don't.
It makes sense.
It
makes
sense.
Perfect sense. And last shot here, we see Eren's head spinning off his body.
Yeah.
I love that hair, like that hair, spinny hair effect. It's the exact same kind of draw art style, kind of as on the like OG manga cover when like Eren like spins with his swords toward the colossal Titan.
Interesting.
That's just something I picked up on. I thought it was really like a neat. I don't know if it was intentional, but it was just like kind of funny.
Yeah.
But yeah, what a chapter.
Yeah, what a chapter.
If we don't see Armin and Mikasa's reaction to this, I would be disappointed.
We definitely will. Whenever
it's true. I mean, if you look just a couple pages back, you can see just two shots of them. So obviously they realize what has just happened.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm sure we'll get some sort of reaction. Now it all depends on what happens with Eren. Quite
precisely.
frankly.
Is he going to be dead for good, or can he somehow make it through this?
So, without going into spoilers, I have reason to believe that no, he's not dead. But I think that whatever happens, it's going to be similar to, and I know you think differently, Petter, but I think it's going to be similar to whatever happened with Reiner in his plot armor. Moving his consciousness around. Or something to those.
I guess he could have done that, if that's a power that he also has, or an ability that,
I mean,
that
look,
he also has.
everyone has. A lot of people have hardening, so I don't see why
Yeah.
the armor titan would necessarily be exclusive to that power.
True.
Right.
True. It's definitely possible. And I just wonder, like, if he does possess that ability, did he have time to make that maneuver?
I mean, look, when who was it that it was Levi or someone took his nap out, but he the nape of his neck. Wow, names are just escaping me. Reiner, gosh, why could I? We were literally just talking about him. Reiner was still able in a split millisecond transfer his consciousness. So I mean,
fair enough.
Couldn't he pull the same kind of crap here? I mean,
probably.
I guess we'll find out.
We'll find out. Another thing that I saw someone mention, I won't take credit for this. I think it was someone in our Discord server who said that what if he's able to grow a body out of his head, like
right,
since his brain is still intact or something, he's able to grow. Now, I mean, that's still that's very creepy. That would be very weird to see.
Yeah.
That's wow. That would be crazy. But to be fair, how do you survive this?
That is the question. That is the question. His heart and his brain have been completely separated now.
Yeah.
How does that work if you want to get back,
But why would you do this? I know you're trying to make something climactic, but why in the world? Unless you want to kill him. But he's not. He can't be dead. He's not dead.
I mean,
I guess we'll find out next month.
We are getting close to the end of the story, and I personally wouldn't have anything against if this was Aaron's actual death. I would be fine with it.
I wouldn't.
Don't know.
Because we don't know why he's suddenly a jerk. We don't know why he is trying to get with Zeke. People had the whole rumor that Zeke was mind controlling Aaron, which I don't believe.
No.
I think Aaron is somehow using Zeke.
Exactly.
Or trying to get to his means. And we're not going to know that or understand that if he's just dead. What, Armin's going to come in and is like, let me do some exposition real quick, and then we can mourn Aaron's death.
Yeah,
I think Petter had a good idea earlier in this discussion where the next, we could have a chapter or a decent segment of a chapter dedicated to Aaron's motivation.
Yeah, I agree. And then we find out he's not dead.
That would help if he does die.
That could be shown as flashbacks and stuff. Aaron doesn't have to be alive for us to learn this.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Is flashback.
I mean, who's flashback? Who's flashback?
Just for the reader. It's not for the characters. Just
it's not anybody's flashback. It's just Aaron, and he's like, oh, he's dead.
It's the same way.
Here's why he was like this, but he's dead. It doesn't make sense.
You remember
it doesn't make sense.
It does make sense because you remember when we all thought that Zeke was gonna die when he blew up. We got that exact same thing. We got a flashback to his childhood. He didn't, but we all thought he would, and it would have made sense for him to have died.
But he didn't die.
No, he didn't. But he.
That's the point I'm trying to make. You're trying to say that he will die. What I'm saying is,
I don't know.
He's not going to die. He's not dead yet.
I guess we'll find out, won't we?
If he's not dead yet, I very much look forward to seeing how he will survive this, because
indeed,
it's going to be exciting for sure. So that's one of the things.
He shouldn't be alive. I will say that he shouldn't be alive, but he will be. He will be.
Right. So that's going to be interesting to see how that works out. It's also going to be interesting to see if the fight somehow goes on. We don't know if it will or not, but if it does go on, we have kind of one little front with Reiner fighting Sean and Connie. And then we have another with Piek and Magath fighting Mikasa and Armin, sort of. Although maybe that won't be a thing, of course, with this major events happening. Yeah. Exactly. But there's a lot of different things that could go a lot of different ways, I feel. And on top of that, the whole town is full of Titans now, so.
Yeah. I think that, like you mentioned, you can do a flashback. But you could also do the fight still goes on, and he's just dead supposedly dead on the ground, you know,
Yeah.
and then
yeah.
something happens where he's not actually dead, kind of a thing.
Right.
So I think like the fight could still go on, and then at the end of the chapter or into the next chapter, you find out Aaron's still alive.
Right.
But anyway,
Definitely. And yeah, I wonder for how long Hajime Izuyama is gonna let us believe he's dead this time, because he already did this like in the first arc, or
right? That's
when he
true.
was eaten by Santa Titan.
You're right.
Probably at least 2 months, because what if we get a chapter centered around Hanji and Levi?
Right. That is one of the things that we're kind of waiting for.
Mm-hmm. Do you really think we're gonna have a chapter centered on them, or are they gonna show up last minute, kind of a thing?
Maybe
I mean, obviously
we would have,
Levi
like,
is in
maybe like
not in
half
the best
of
state.
like the first half of the chapter could be about them like picking up wherever they are, and then
'Cause
they
we don't
would
know where they're at
make
right
it
now.
into Shiganshina. Maybe they'll join the battle. Potentially,
Yeah.
depending on Levi's state and all, like we have no clue.
Right,
Like,
We have no idea
sure.
if he's alive or dead right now, although Levi's
I'm
another
pretty sure
one of
he's
those
alive.
characters that,
Yeah.
especially recently, has escaped death. If he escapes death twice, because for him, he escaped death, this is another side tangent, and we've had enough of those, but in the chapters focusing on him, he's escaped death once, and then later in the day, we don't know if he's alive or dead.
Yep.
But if he is alive, man, he's got the same plot armor that Reiner must have.
Well, to be fair, when they were in the forest and he took out the titans that Zeke conjured, like, yeah, it seemed kind of like that was it. But at the same time, we shouldn't really be surprised at all, because those were just pure mindless titans. Like,
That's true.
that's not going to be the end of Levi.
Right. I mean, I think
I
people
guess
would have
we'll
been
find out.
disappointed if he had come out eaten by just meager titans at that point, right?
Yeah,
So-
exactly.
But I mean, as to whether he's alive or not, I think he is. I don't think Hans acts the way she did unless she thinks Levi is alive. But that's just my belief.
Yeah, no, I'm totally on board with that. Like, the only
Yeah.
reason I would see her actually bringing him along like that, if he was dead, would be to maybe like to use him as a meat shield. If they were,
But
like,
okay, you
but
say
even
that.
even
But
that
she
doesn't
didn't
make
like.
that much
But
sense.
she didn't like turn around and have the body face bullets or anything like that.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, no, exactly. So I also think he's alive.
Yeah.
Based on what she did and all.
But I guess I could see them showing where they're at right now. But at the same time, I don't know. I don't.
Yeah.
I don't see what the point. What do they have to discuss?
If it
Really?
can be tied into what's going on in Shiganshina right now in this battle, then maybe that could work, But yeah, I guess we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
Right. Now, speaking of characters that aren't part of this, but that we kind of haven't seen in a while, we talked about Annie before. Now we've talked about Hanji and Levi as well. Historia is another one of those characters.
Yeah.
Like,
Quick.
what's she up to?
Yeah. Well, I mean, pregnant for one thing.
She is pregnant, but I don't know. I feel like
On a farm.
she was such an interesting character for
I
a
agree.
good portion of the story, and then now she's just kind of, carrying a child.
Yeah,
kind
I think it's kind of depressing what they did to the character. Now, help me out here. You remember when Mikasa left her scarf?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who was the person that she was with in the same room?
That was I forget her
was
name. I forget her
can't
name,
remember.
but she was one of the Jaegerists, one of the girls with Flock, and she was the
How
girl.
do we know her?
She was initially at the very beginning of the story. She was in the Struggle for Trust district when they were what's his face, that merchant in Trust district who became a major character in the Uprising arc.
Yeah. I don't remember the name, but I know what you're talking
Yeah,
about.
but that guy was
Yeah.
kind of like trying to shove a wagon through a gate,
Right.
and it was like stopping a lot of
I
people
love-
from
Oh,
evacuating.
she was there
love
in
that
that scene then?
Yeah, she was a little child, like a little girl.
Oh,
and
that
she
was
saw Mika.
her.
Yeah, that was her.
Oh, whoa.
Yeah.
Oh, they did
okay.
actually. He did actually write that I think in a little flashback panel.
Yeah, yeah,
For
exactly.
that.
That was made clear in it.
I just forgot. I'm not saying I didn't make the connection.
Right.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool, like how he uses, and the same thing really with like the girl that Sasha saved in her village, being becoming like a more important character later on, as we saw in this arc. I like how he did stuff like that. But yeah, that's that girl, and she was the one who was with Mikasa, and she had.
Okay, that's all I wanted to know. I feel like I was supposed to know who she was, but she kind of looked like Historia for a second. I was like, whoa. Why is Historia here? That's not right. Who is this person? So I didn't connect that. So okay, that makes a lot more sense. She's a little more important than that. Okay, she totally took the scarf. She has a scarf right now, and she's gonna give it to Mikasa. Anyway.
Man.
No, but the reason I brought that up was because when I first saw her, I was like, wait, is that Historia? But no, it's
right.
Not. Yeah, Historia's pregnant on a farm somewhere.
Yeah, she's a big Mikasa fangirl though.
Yeah,
we know that much because she had another scene with Mikasa at an earlier point in this arc as well. I think when Mikasa was
that's right.
I wish I could remember her name.
I think I can vaguely remember. Yeah, like she mentioned, like, oh, don't you remember me? I joined.
Yeah.
Whatever, and
I think so.
I'm on your side or something like that.
Yeah, but she's been with the Jaegerists like
right.
Time,
Meaning like she thinks.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, I know what you mean.
Yeah. But yeah, there's a lot of characters that we could probably talk for hours about.
Sorry, I totally like derailed your whole Historia thought. I didn't mean to.
No. Don't worry at all. Like I just wanted to mention Historia as one of those other characters that we don't really know what's up with exactly.
It's true.
We know roughly, but we haven't really seen her in a while.
Well, you don't know we don't really know who the father is.
Right.
Or, really what her main purpose is anymore, other than is she just going to give birth to Titans? I mean, that's what kind of the old Eren would not allow that to happen.
Oh no. I mean,
like and to me, if the old Eren is still in there, decapitated or not, he would not allow this. Like there'd be a plan in place to take the burden away from her, that she wouldn't have to birth Titans anymore. But
exactly. I'm pretty sure he's still on that road.
Yeah.
He and that's why he's doing everything that he's doing, like not just for Historia but for the Eldians and for the world as a whole.
Yeah.
Because he values freedom above everything else, pretty much. Right.
Yeah.
And so he wants everyone to have freedom. Is he a martyr? I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I don't know. I heard someone brought up the fact that they think it's very out of character that Eren killed the Marleyans in the Marley arc, and I don't think it's out of character.
Agree.
No.
I think that to him, these are the oppressors, and these are the people who have done the Eldians wrong for so many years. And I don't necessarily think he puts the sins of the fathers on the children, but more like, you have to do what you have to do.
Yeah.
And I mean, if casualties happen, then so be it. I don't necessarily think he's looking to kill people, or I don't even think he's like okay with killing people. I just think that he knows he has to do. He has a goal in mind. He has to get something. He has to get it done. But what are your thoughts?
Steven, would you like to go first?
I mean, since I'm the one who's not really all that angry at Eren, I don't think it was out of character, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I mean, it's one of those things where, like, it's in the heat of the moment, right? Like, you're in enemy territory, and it is 4 years, right? 4 year. Well, we don't know how long he's been there.
Yeah.
But the time jump was 4 years.
I mean, the time jump for like from the point when they reached the ocean until they invaded Liberia was 3 years.
Oh, 3 years.
But from the point where they retook the walls and Shiganshina until they invaded Liberia was 4 years, because there was 1 year from the point when they battled in Shiganshina until they reached the ocean. That was a 1 year gap there.
So
Yeah, the only-
I think that at most he was there for 2 years.
Yeah,
At most.
Yeah, it could be.
at most, definitely. It might maybe even less than 1 year. You know.
Yeah.
But that-
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Bringing it back to the overall discussion, though, I think well, not this far back, but I think that we could definitely use a look at Aaron's motivations in the last arc or so.
Well, yes.
And not so much motivation, just I guess it's more like his plan.
Yeah.
Why is he
Yeah.
doing what he's doing?
Precisely.
I guess that goes into motivation. So you're right, but
Yeah.
I specifically want to know his plan.
Exactly. Very much so. I can't wait to get all of that revealed, because that's really the biggest mystery right now. And that's kind of
I agree.
interesting how the story starts off with Aaron as the obvious protagonist, and we see everything through his eyes. We know everything that he knows, and the mysteries in the story are the world and everything around Aaron. But now in these two most recent arcs, he is the mystery all of a sudden, and we know
Yeah.
pretty much everything except for him. I find that very
That's a
like
good
that
point.
change very interesting.
Well,
Yeah.
and it's almost to the point where the first 3/4 of the manga, we knew everything that Aaron knew. When he learned something new, we learned something new. There's
Right.
very few
Yep.
things that he knew that we didn't know, or and vice versa.
Petter, when I was first reading, well, not first reading the manga, but like first getting into the anime,
Yeah.
Petter gave me a observation that like the viewer is a pedestrian, right?
Like a citizen of the walls.
Right. Yes. Basically, when the viewer finds out about certain things, so does the citizens. For a good portion of the title.
Interesting. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
there's.
we as the viewer or reader know exactly what the people living inside the walls know. We are under the impression or under the assumption that, well, of course, Titans invaded and killed all of humanity except for the people inside the walls. Like, of course, that's how it is, because that's just how it is. Like,
Right.
we don't question it the same way the people, like the characters in the story, don't question it until
Right.
things start going down.
Exactly.
Kind of.
That was quite beautifully done, if I may add. But going back to what I was saying is, for the longest time, basically what Aaron knew is what we knew, except for
Yeah.
plans, that were plot twists. It's like, oh, they had planned on this alone. Oh, they
yeah.
suspected Annie the whole time.
Right.
But
right.
the reason why is because those plans were made by Armin or something like that, not Aaron himself. Aaron has done very little things to be, have a plan or any sort of, in my mind, leadership skills, other than I'm really tough and I'm gonna get the job done. but
true.
now he's all of a sudden taken these plans, and these are all his ideas supposedly.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
so now he's taking
he's
the
like almost
initiative
trying to be
do
a leader
things.
in a sense.
Yeah.
And in that way, it's like totally different character. So
True. Yeah. Yeah. That's interesting. Yeah.
Like now is where he takes the most initiative out of the rest of the title, right?
Right. I mean, well, and maybe it makes
he's
more
working
sense that he's the
alone,
main character.
too.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's odd not going so long without having like an Armin plan. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why it's so strange that Aaron is kind of, I guess Aaron and Zeke, you might say, are pulling the strings at this point of this
Right.
plan. So
Yeah, but it makes sense though, with like considering that Aaron has been getting more and more in touch with his Attack Titan throughout the story, and the Attack Titan is known for being the Titan that always moves forward. That's kind of its thing, and with him getting more and more in touch with that, like especially during the end of the Uprising arc, and probably as well during the time skip, even more so, it makes sense for him to have adapted the Attack Titan's morals and ideals even more, and thus
agree.
taking more initiative himself and doing what he thinks is right, and whatever that is.
Yeah, whatever that is.
Yeah.
I agree with you, but thank you, Peter, for bringing that up, because I didn't even think about that before.
No worries. And thank you guys for talking about this with me for over an hour.
Oh yeah, I mean,
Yeah, I mean, I can go longer if we go on. I could, but obviously that's not fun.
I will say that I was trying to focus mainly on I couldn't really contribute to conversation much other than the last few chapters. Like, I don't have this deep this deep knowledge of the title like you guys have, so
I'll be honest, like names, I'm so
quiet.
bad with the names in Attack on Titan.
Like, I understand that I was a bit quiet, but like we've been talking about a lot of topics for the last hour plus, so
It's true. It's the first episode.
yeah.
Right.
There's a lot of things we had to bring up, I guess.
Yeah, I think so. We had a lot to catch up on, kind of, and.
My bad.
But no,
Oh,
don't
no
worry about it
problem.
at all. And honestly,
Yeah.
like, I don't know how long these episodes will be, like, moving forward. I don't really know. Like, I thought they would be somewhere between half an hour and an hour, but maybe they'll be a little longer.
Yeah, maybe this one is just a little longer.
Outside of just the most recent chapter, this was more of a like, here's where we're at type of episode.
Yeah,
pretty much.
I agree. Mhm.
Yeah, but at the same time, I don't want to kill a discussion if it's an interesting one. So
Sure.
if it goes long, it goes long. I don't mind that personally.
I'm fine with
okay.
that too.
Awesome. Well then, thank you, whoever listened to this. Thank you very much. We will put some links in the description to our Discord server and some YouTube channels that the three of us are in. Or at least those of us who have YouTube channels, some Twitters as well. It will all be down there easily to see. And each of us are also on other podcasts here on the same YouTube channel. Zelda Podcast, Fire Emblem Podcast, movie podcasts, all that good stuff. So if you're interested in that, check it out. And I guess with that said, we'll bid you lovely listeners adieu. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Sasage.